far, so good. Nice composition. 14 minutes and 23 seconds elapsed. So, time to resume. 3, 2, 1, go.
So the main feature of the robot, as everyone said, is to control the emotions of human beings. So here the robot has a special feature that reading mind of human. For example, if we have a lot of jealousy, or we are suffering from a lot of problems which is related to our emotions, that acts as a psychologist. To a psychologist, the psychologist will read our mind and he will give solution accordingly. Like that, we gives a new projection to this robot to analyze the human mind. So this is the special feature which we designed in this robot and continued by next person.
So it acts as a remote psychologist, or it is a pre-planned program of a psychologist into the robot's neural scheme. How does it work?
So the judge have inserted every. Ashwata, would you like to answer it?
No, ka by mistake I unmuted ka. Can continue ka.
Okay. Yeah. No problem. We'll answer that later. Go with the flow. Come on. 15 minutes left. Okay.
So I would like to add upon some features to this robot. So the main feature of this robot is to control all these 6 emotions that we have already. So the another feature that is that I would like to add upon is it has a subconscious mind shift inside it. So that every human being has a subconscious mind, and he or she, every human being can relate it with. They can think and they can do. So we have also inserted a subconscious mind shift, which acts as a real subconscious mind inside a robot. So so this becomes a humanoid robot. So this is my part. Over to the next.
Thank you, Mitra. So it is very useful to for the education purposes. It can how we are educated by Manihandan sir. It would give the same education to the children who are in the schools, and in government schools there are no proper education. Through that through this robot they can get better education. Over to the next person.
So next we are going to let you know about an important feature that we have that the world has first ever used, that is Neuralinks in robots. Last year in 2020, it was actually invented by Elon Musk, and in 2020 it was first put into an animal. And later on it worked, and it's just a small brain implanted chip that can control the human emotions. And the main motor behind preparing this robot and assembling this robot was all about this. Was all about to control the. It's all about Neuralink, and it has been tested in animals and it has worked out. It is mainly for humans, and especially in the humanoid robots. We are going to take this and give the robot to the world. What it can use, it can control the emotions. The main motor is controlling the emotions, and it can control the emotions by tweaking the hormone levels. We all know how much important the hormone levels and hormones play a role in our body. And this one especially introduced that it helps the robot to control the emotion. The first thing that we are going to make is when we are creating the robot, we are creating it because it could set the example for humans. Humans here are suffering from various emotions and not able to control the emotions, and they are suffering from those. So when we are able to, if it is tested correctly, and if the robot is able to live in this world with this particular Neuralink in its in this world with this Neuralink, then we can definitely use it on the humans too. And that's why this is going to be on an inventory basis. And we have also, as Vishnupriya ma'am said, we have inserted a subconscious mind chips because when being a remote psychologist, when it is able to demonstrate the therapies, it must be able to communicate with its subconscious mind. But robots would only be able to visualize using their certain chips that are used for their visualization. But if we So these are some of the features. And the last feature that I would like to mention is about the chip that we have inserted. It is known as a replica chip. The DNA importance will be shared by the further questions by our team. But this chip, what it does is, we want to replicate. We want it to each time if it is sanctioned, each time we can't go on with different codes and sometimes mistake might happen. Mistake is very common, and if mistake happens in the robot, you all know how much big disaster the world would be in. So what we are going to do is this chip through some process can replicate itself. Being on its own, it can replicate the features and it has the same neuralink as the same appeared person. So this is same appeared robot. So these are the things that we have used in these types of robots, so that there might be certain advantages when we are having this robot exist in this world, and we are having certain benefits of this robot too, which will be the next question. So the next question is of robot. Who would like to answer?
Benefits of the robot, Kavita.
Sir, better use, sir.
Benefits for
Mitra, can you please come again?
No, as per the plot and as per the sequence, it has started with the benefits of the robots. So she was asking who is going to explain.
Okay, sir. I'll explain.
Alright, time will resume 3, 2, 1, go.
So now I'm going to explain about the benefits of the robot. We have designed the robot in such a way that it is contributing in all the aspects of human life. It is contributing in humans' emotions. The second one is education. Our teammate has already mentioned. It is also used in defense. It has been tested in the ocean. Now it is going to be tested in the wars that is going to come. And in the last sequence, we'll explain on how this robot will be useful for the war. It is going to be in the last phase. It is also useful in the hydropower. So when we checked if it is able to travel and if it is able to navigate in the ships, we also wanted to test the use of this robot in hydropower. This robot is manufactured in such a way that it also contributes towards agriculture. All the machines that are made by man are made sure that it consumes less time than humans, and it has less power than humans, and it is also the same with this robot. The equivalent ratio of this robot to human is a human who can do a work in the field of agriculture for 4 hours. This robot can accomplish it within 1.5 hours or 2 hours. So these are the benefits of this robot in various aspects. If anyone would like to add upon, you can go ahead, friends.
So friends, shall I add upon?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, friends. So as my colleague mentioned, there are many benefits of this robot, and also mainly it doesn't harm anyone because we have also have safety precautions inside it. So not just in these kind of types, it also helps in it says how to control our emotions, and this helps it helps the humanity to move move forward in their life, and it can also grasp things very easily and help think help everyone. Like all the moral values we teach, it'll just take them up and start to use them, but it still acts more like a human. Thank you, friends.
Thank you, sir. The next question is your motto behind this. Motto behind creating this robot. So I would like to answer for this question. We have described this robot as a motto in certain words. Okay, so we would like to mention those words: perception, optimism, toleration, and emotions. So as you all already know, emotions.
Tolerance.
Tolerance. That's the one.
Tolerance.
Emotions. So you all know that the key factor why we are creating the key motto is emotions, and we have also mentioned this in the motto. Optimism. Few people in this world, they don't think optimistic, but few people have positive thinking, and that's how they start thinking about certain things. Positive thinking can be know lots of things, failures, disappointments, and everything. And we have created this, we have written this as a main motto, that is optimism, and it should be able to tolerate things.
I would like to interrupt. Pastor Tim. Can we get on with the details of the emotions control?
So that will be the last sentence.
அது ஒரு brief on பண்ண முடியுமா?
So we have got to speak in this report.
25 minutes already elapsed.
அது வந்து நாங்க இது பண்ணபடி அது ஃபாஸ்டா முடிஞ்சிரும் சார். அது 10 minutes.
35 total time, 5 minutes buffer extra.
ஓகே சார்.
40 குள்ள எல்லாத்தையும் முடிச்சிட முடியும்னா பண்ணுங்க.
ஓகே சார்.
ஆனா முக்கியமானது வந்து எமோஷனல் கண்ட்ரோல்.
இப்போ நாங்க
இந்த அஞ்சு ஃபேக்டர்ஸ் சொல்லாம நீங்க மத்தத டைம் வேஸ்ட் பண்ணிட்டு அப்புறம் டைம் எக்ஸ்ட்ரா தான் கொடுக்கணும்.
3 minutes ல முடிச்சிடுவோம்.
Okay. Then we'll yeah, then go with the routine. Then go with the routine, and always be a little bit vigilant about
Yes sir.
covering the major parts.
Yes, sir.
Don't minor on the major and don't major on the minor. 3, 2, 1, go.
It should be able to tolerate emotions, and that's why we have inserted certain things, certain chips like neural links and those things. And next, we would like to get on to the next question. Any new improvisation or invention in the chip, and that also includes a report explanation. We have explained the whole report. The one thing that is remaining is about one particular thing that we told you that we are going on to the further questions. Vrindavan, you wanted to explain on this?
So we are going to include one more chip that is regarding to DNA. So the one thing, for example, this chip we are going to include in the neural scheme of the robot. So here, while this is we are taking one human being who is full of positive thinking. Not only positive thinking, a human being with lot of warrior skill. For example, a human being who knows a lot about Abdul Kalam, who reads lot of books about Abdul Kalam, and who is a great follower of Mahatma Gandhi. There are some persons who are living in this world now. So if we take their DNA through air, we used to then we can take the DNA, and half of the DNA can be taken and we can insert it to the chips in the chip, and we can give it to the neural system. So the nervous system of the robot, and then if the nervous system, when it passes the information to the chips, and it will act according to it. So it's very important for it to control emotions. These people are really very good controller of emotions, and these people are very good controller of emotions, as they read lot of books and they know lot of things, and also they are very warrior. They still also like warrior. So therefore, then if we take like that person, and if we incorporate that particular DNA into the robot, sure it will be worked out. We cannot say that 100% it will be worked out. Even it's 30 to 40% in accuracy it will be worked out, and it will be sure control emotions in that point of view. Because when people know more about emotional dealing and how to face fear, so everything, for example, these 6 emotions which we give, like anger, fear, sorrow, guilt, disappointment, and jealousy. So for this 6th one, we are going to take DNA from particular person who has not having these 6 emotions, and we are going to include that particular DNA into the robot.
Okay. Good.
So please, sir, now we are getting on with the sequence where we have the rules.
Yeah.
Kanditaka, would you like to raise your hands?
Yes, Mitra, thank you.
Okay.
Please, this case is going to be about the solutions, and Mitra is going to act as the robot that we have prepared, and rest of them we are going to play the role of the emotions. We will narrate a situation, a hypothetical situation. Everybody had made it on their different scenario, and we are going to differentiate on how a normal human being will face that scenario, and how this particular robot, we have
we have created is going to face that situation. That is what is going to happen now. Now I would like to ask Mitra to continue.
So here sir has a role. He is going to give some scenarios and ask questions towards a few people. Here we have created the robot. Like we have taken a few examples about how not to be. Like those people are asked to come here, and here you are going to have a test towards the robot. So I will be sitting here as a robot, and sir will be asking certain questions to.
So it's basically after 7 years or so.
Yes, sir. The robot has been just given for sanction. Just people are here to sanction the robot, and that's where the scenario happens, sir.
Right.
So here, Kalpita, the head, she's going to act as the anger, the emotion person, the anger emotion person. Vrindaka is going to act as the fear. Ashwatthama is going to act as the sorrow. Radhisha is going to act as the guilt. Vindhyavasrika is going to act as the disappointment. And Vishnu Priyaka is going to act as the jealousy. And so, can we start, sir? Can we start, sir?
Okay, so what's the name of the robot? I mean, I'm really happy that you people have been strenuously working for preparing this robot. So, what's the name of the robot?
Its name is Bhava.
Okay.
Bhava Vidya, sir.
Bhava Vidya, Bhava.
Baba.
Oh, Bhava Vidya. Bhava Vidya, Bhava Vidya.
Why should I pass it? Sir, because first English. Sir, first if you are asking the question about anger, sir, that is Kalpita, sir. You give one scenario, small question. Small scenario, small question, sir. You ask Kalpita, sir. Then she will give an answer being the affected person, sir. Then I as a robot, because I am able to control the emotions, right, sir, I will do. So, ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ನಾವು ಸೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ಇದು ಮ್ಯಾಥಮೆಟಿಕ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಸರ್ ಅದು ನಾನು ಈ ಥರ
You hear anything in the sequence? Oh, right. Right.
It is 3, 2, 1, go.
I would like to speak to the anger phase or anger mode or anger chip or whatever technically you call of Bhava Vidya. So I would call it as the Robo BB, right? So Robo BB's anger. Let's assume that you are going into a stadium for watching a soccer game where there is a huge ruckus between the two teams, and as an avid fan, if I'm the owner of Bhava Vidya, and if I'm the avid fan of one particular team, I might be getting the rage, and I might be hitting the other person who is the fan of the other team. So during this particular situation where there are about 50,000 people in the stadium, how would Bhava Vidya's anger management will control my anger?
I'm certainly prepared to certain situations, and while my designers were coding, they initially coded certain things that is confidential, and the chips that have been inserted in me makes me to control my anger, and the subconscious chip has made me to visualize. Most of the therapies I'm doing consistently or based on visualization therapy. So by being a consistent therapy practitioner, by default, without me doing anything, I must be able to control the emotions. It is especially anger, which is the base, and I will definitely control the emotion. And I must certainly, being a robot, being a humanoid robot, my duty is to save people from these situations. Like if you were the person, sir, if you were into this harsh behavior, I must stop you and the other people whom you are hitting upon, and I must definitely speak with you, sir. That is how I have it coded for.
I'm putting Bhava Vidya now to the stealth mode, and I want the inner emotion to speak. Like Brinda has been designing the fear management protocol, Kalpita has been designing the anger management protocol. So I want their voices. So is it possible, Robot and Bhava Vidya? I want to hear their voices.
It's possible, sir.
Okay, so stealth mode, the main machine is in the stealth mode, and I want their voice. Out of character, I want those people to answer. 3, 2, 1, go. So BV remains in the stealth mode, and I would like to speak to the fear protocol of Bhava Vidya, which has been designed by the scientist Sudeshri Brinda. So I need to hear Brinda's voice. It's pre-recorded, I know. So I'm speaking to the fear management control system of Bhava Vidya. Fear of darkness, fear of ghosts, and fear of future examinations. I want solutions for these three fears.
So fear of darkness. So fear of darkness is a very similar thing which is faced by a lot of people in the world. So as a inner voice, I used to give solution like don't we get so much fear. So fear is like everything. There are lot of therapy and lot of things which says that the fear of darkness can be removed by a lot of therapies, and lot of therapists also invented a lot of therapy. But here as an information I used to give this, the darkness or any sort of fear can be removed only by the emotions of happiness and emotion, how much we keep happy ourselves, and that can be removed only by our confidence. When we face the darkness, we used to get some sort of demotivation, and we will not have that much confidence to face it. So first thing we have to develop in our mind, in ourself, in our own self is the self-confidence. So let it sure whenever we go, we will be thinking that only darkness, right? Darkness is similar to the brightness which we see in the morning time, and the darkness is nothing but it's just a thing which all the persons in the world come across. Like morning it's bright, and morning to evening it's bright, and evening to night we will get so much darkness if there is no light. So this is solution, and second one is fear of.
No, it's okay. I'll come back to that. Convincing answer. Thank you so much. Now, the robot still remains in the stealth mode, and I would like to speak to the guilt part of Bhava Vidya. The guilt part has been dealt by the scientist Pratisha Devi. So, my question to Pratisha Devi is, when you are really hurting someone, and intentionally you hurt the other person, and the innocent person is really feeling so sad about it, and how do you think that can be managed? You hurt somebody, and then you later feel guilty about hurting that person. How is that guilt going to be managed? That's the question. Time running, Pratisha.
Pratisha, give your solutions. Pratisha, you said it in the team discussion, right? Come on.
Come on, Pratisha.
Come on, Pradisha, unmute your mic and speak up.
Come on, Pratisha.
I'm going to lose you.
Sir, she had her own scenario, sir. So for that only she prepared.
Yeah, so if it is prepared on her own, she can speak at least there.
Come on, Pradisha, come
Proceed,
on.
3, 2, 1,
Come on,
go.
Pratisha.
Okay. So I release the stealth mode of BB, and I want her to answer, the robo person to answer.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you go ahead and answer.
Sir, guilt is a part of emotion that various people feel at various circumstances. It is very common, and every person has their own uniqueness. And that person who is very guilty about that particular situation must first close her or her eyes and visualize whether the mistake is on her part or not. Such as Esther made.
Thanks, sir.
Sir, yes, every person has their own uniqueness, and she must first visualize and ask certain questions. If she or he has done a mistake towards the person by whom she is guilty of. If person A has done a mistake that has hurt person B, she must first visualize and ask certain questions whether she was the reason for the mistake that has been on person B's part. And then if she gets yes from her subconscious mind or for the question she asks, She must go with certain steps, like getting on with the solution. And visualization is an art. And if every person does that at certain situation, especially visualization can help when you are guilty about something. If you ask certain question like, have I done it or not, you will get certain answers, and that's how you will be correct. So she has texted whether
Right.
she could guess.
I have answered. Yeah, Pratyusha, you can tell now. We're not hearing you.
When I was
When I was?
I have changed the work. So I have just
Come on, Pratisha.
Continue.
I did not say anyone sir that I have changed the wire didn't tell for anyone so that my
Okay, good try. Good effort. Right. My question. My question now to disappointment, and how do you handle the disappointment? And I put the robot on the stealth mode, and I want the disappointment chronicle to speak. How do you handle the disappointment?
So
So
some people get
I'm giving you a scenario, and robot, you are too much charged. Reduce your charge and listen to me properly.
Sorry.
Now, when you are working hard in an office and somebody else steals the credit, and you're feeling very disappointed, you're trying to explain that you have been the person who has been working a lot, and somebody else has stolen the credit. So how do you deal with that disappointment? Yes. Answer for this scenario.
So yes, sir. So he or she gets the benefit. He didn't get the benefit of the work that he has done. So he could search for evidence, and he or she can give to the owner of the company, and he can prove his or her hard work. Otherwise, she can calm herself that the position of the hard work was given by the person.
Okay, now I would like to ask the question to the jealousy protocol, and Vishnupriya has been handling that. So I see I have won Bhava Vidya, and I have not won the car. And my neighbor owns a car, a BMW perhaps. But I'm not really good enough, and I'm not wealthy enough to afford a BMW. But I get jealousy. So how would you tame on my jealousy as my friend?
Yes. So it's not that we have to get jealous on someone when they are getting a car. So because most of the time many people get jealous because of cars, especially costly cars like BMW or Benz and so on. So we should instead what we have to deviate from that. So like, if we work hard, we can definitely get a car. So if we have that as the main motto, then we can definitely do it, sir.
I want the jealousy to be put off, and it should be engulfed at that very moment. So what solution you have?
Yes, sir. So while we get jealous itself, sir, we have to have the vision board, sir. Like, in the vision board, we have to state the statement that we work hard to get a car. So if we have it like that for each moment that you get jealous, while you're going out and we're getting, if you're seeing the car and you're getting jealous, you have to see the vision board. We have to see the vision board that work hard, so that you will your subconscious mind. You have to tame your subconscious mind to work hard for the achievement that we have.
Okay. All right. So 41 minutes elapsed. We have the last 4 minutes to conclude, and not beyond that. So 30 minutes and now 11 minutes and 38 seconds. So get on with the conclusion. Help it out, Mitra, everybody. So 4 minutes is up to me. 41 already. 30 plus 11. So 41 I said. In 2 minutes we have to conclude.
Kalpitaka, you told like the interface in which we are comparing with the one. You can go ahead because it's very important. We have done with the other important phases.
3, 2, 1. Last 2 minutes and 22 seconds. 2, 3, 2, 1, go.
So this is going to be a differentiation between how this robot can be used in the war field and how it can be used for the inner war that we are facing. For the first one, how it can be used in the war field, there has been a lot of wars that has happened, and we get to know it by books or documentary. If suppose there is a war and people there cannot take quick decision, most of the people are able to take quick decision as a soldier, but those who cannot take quick decisions, this robot will be helpful for that person. This gives an instant solution on the movement of the person from both the mental aspect and the physical aspect. So that is how this can be worked in the war field. And this in a person's feeling, it can give solutions on various feelings. Like now the robot has given solutions for 2 or 3 feelings. For a person who is going through a lot of inner troubles and inner traumas, this robot can be useful. Ashutaman, you said you have a conclusion. Please go ahead.
So thank you, Ka. So I'd like to conclude this presentation. So emotion is one of the most dangerous things in the world. It's very strong. Things like this will stop you in life, but it doesn't mean to. If you want to overcome this, first you'll have to understand the concept of life. I like to give an example here. John Lennon, when he was 5 years old, an incident occurred with his teacher. His teacher asked everyone their ambitions. Everyone said about they want to be a doctor, lawyer, a police, and so on. But what he said was he said he wanted to be happy. His teacher said that he did not understand the concept of life. But John said he did not understand the concept of. Instead, he said that they did not understand the concept of life. So these things will push you down in life. I mean, the life will push you down and leave you alone, but it's up to you to get up. So thank you, friends. Hope you liked our presentation.
Good job. Time.
Thank you, sir.
Well done, team Kalpitaka.
Thank you, Guru.
Thank you, Guru Anna.
44 minutes of presentation, and I will give the last 30 seconds because Brinda wanted to give a conclusion. You give a conclusion.
So it's 5 minutes.
So 44. So 1 minute, 30 seconds for Brinda, 30 seconds for Brinda. 3, 2, 1, go. And you guys will have 45.
Yes, sir. We'll try to stay within the time limits.
That's
but
right.
if we have more things, then if we exceed, then we'll finish with one.
Let me know if you have.
Most probably we'll finish with one.
That's good. Finish within this week. That's very important. 3, 2, 1, go. 1 minute. Last conclusion.
Most of the people in the world suffers from negative emotions. I hope this robot will help them in future because negative emotions will make lot of trouble in future in the particular person's life. So to give lot of solutions and to control their emotions, this project came to us. We would like to thank our Manivandan sir to give this project. Give this wonderful project and as a team and crew, we did it properly. I hope for this robot will be useful for everyone in the future, so it will exist so long in this world.
When a robot is trained, this Neuralink is able to instill it to a robot, and when it's able to control the emotions, negative emotions and positive emotions. We humans are able to, we are capable of controlling the emotions too. capacity is all based on things. If we think certain negative things, like if a person says something, and normally people, stereotypical people just say that, okay, then this will definitely happen. That negative thinkers, if they are controlling and conditioning their mind even more, this world will be full of positivity, like these robots are exist in this world. Thank you so much for listening to our presentation, and hope we have given the correct presentation.
Absolutely.
Very well done, sir.
Very well done, friends.
Well done, friends.
Thank you, Guru.
All right, team
Very
Kalpita,
well
one
done,
of
team.
the
Very well done, friends.
Asathaman, you seem to have a verbal diarrhea because you are saying emotion is very dangerous. You got to listen to your words carefully. முதல்ல பேசுற
Yes, sir.
மத்தவங்க
Yes.
listen பண்றதுக்கு முன்னாடி நீ பேச listen பண்ணு. என்ன what do you mean by emotion is very dangerous? அதுக்கப்புறம் emotion is very powerful அப்படிங்கிற. What do you actually mean?
Sir, actually, I mean the emotions like jealousiness and anger. These are dangerous, sir. It can be harm ourselves or backfire at sometimes, sir.
John Lennon 12th கிளாஸ்க்கு மேல படிக்கவே இல்லை. நீ எங்க இந்த லிட்ரேச்சர் எடுத்த? John Lennonோட ஸ்கூல்ல நடந்ததுன்னு சொல்லி ஒரு anecdote சொல்லி. Where did you get this from? I am afraid that
Sir,
it is fact. It is not John Lennon's story. John Lennon has got a different story altogether. And where did you get this from? What's the source?
Sir, actually, I'll be just like scrolling in Google, sir, like that. Below bottom, sir, like some news will come, no, sir. There I saw this one, sir. But now I stopped doing that, sir.
John Lennon is an author. அவருடைய ஸ்கூல் லைஃப்ல நடந்தது அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு நீ பத்த வைக்கிற எப்படி? I have read about the scripts of John Lennon, and nowhere I have come across a situation where John Lennon was questioned like this in the school and he answered. It has even happened in Albert Einstein's life, Isaac Newton's life. Adalla okay, but John Lennon. Kalpita, you have got anything to say about this?
Sir, I think the news I came across was fake, sir. Sorry, sir.
It's very dangerous.
Yes, sir, we are pleased.
Do you understand this?
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
புக் எல்லாம் படிக்கிறவங்க கிட்ட போய் இப்படி ஒரு சபையில நீ பேசினா கிழிச்சிருவானு, இந்த ஸ்டேஜ்லயே வச்சு கிழிச்சிருவானு. படாக்கிற மாதிரி எங்களை மாதிரி ஆளுகிட்ட ஜாக்கிரதையா இருக்கு. என்ன ஜான் லேரன் எந்த டீச்சர் ஜான் லேரன் பார்த்து கேட்டாங்க. நீ வெளிநாட்டுல போய் ஏதாவது ஒரு ஃபியூச்சர் 25 வயசுல வெளிநாட்டுல போய் ஏதாவது ஒரு பிரசன்டேஷன் பண்ணும்போது மகாத்மா காந்தி 7 வயசுல இருக்கும்போது அவர் பால்வாடி ஸ்கூல்ல அப்படின்னு நீ அடிச்சுன்னு வச்சுக்கோ, நான் அங்கேயே வச்சு கிழிச்சிருவானே அப்படித்தான் பேசுவேன். நீ இப்ப வந்து சொல்ற ஃபேக் அப்படின்னு. இது மட்டும் இல்ல, நீ நிறைய இந்த மாதிரி பண்ற. சும்மா ஓகே இவர் வந்து எக்ஸ்ட்ராவா நம்மள அப்ரிஷியேட் பண்ணுவாரு அப்படிங்கிற காரணத்துக்காக இல்லாத ஒரு விஷயத்தால எது குக்கப் பண்ணி பேசுறது. This is not only a lie, this is height of dishonesty. And it is completely against professional ethics. And being a seventh grade student, you are doing this. இதெல்லாம் எனக்கு பிடிக்காத விஷயம். Kalpita, as a leader, how do you explain this?
Sir, yes, sir. He said he has a conclusion. Sir, in the team discussion also, I asked if it is proper, whether the data are proper, Ashataman, and everything are good, sir. He said, with a strong voice, he said, yes, ka, everything are proper. I have decided everything, sir. And last, I wanted to ask him on what was his conclusion, sir. But since the link was sent, we all came together, sir.
I understand, but it's fake. He's backing off. He's backing off now, Kalpita. He says it's fake. Ask him to give me the proof. அப்படி ஏதாவது ஒரு review of literature இல்ல ஏதாவது ஒரு blogல இருந்துச்சு அப்படின்னா then I will put my head down. I'm pretty sure it is not something of that sort. சும்மா ஆடிஷன் பண்ணுது. இந்த எக்ஸாம்பிள் எடுத்துறாரு.
So no, sir, sorry, sir. Hereafter, if I came across any news, I'll before I use it or speak it everywhere or reveal it, sir, I'll try to research more on it, sir.
ஒரு விஷயம் ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கோங்க. எந்த ஒரு விஷயத்தை சொன்னாலும் bibliography and citations ஆட் பண்றது ஒரு ப்ரொஃபஷனலுடைய வேலை. ஏதாவது ஒரு விஷயத்தை புக்ல இருந்து எக்ஸ்ட்ராக்ட் பண்ணி சொன்னீங்கன்னாவோ இல்ல to the journal நான் கொடுத்தேன். எந்த புக்ல இருந்து எடுக்கிறேன், யார் ஆத்தர், அந்த bibliography கரெக்டா சொல்லு அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு citation is needed. Wikipedia, the world's most renowned information source provider. அங்கேயே பாத்தீங்கன்னா ஒருத்தரை பத்தி சொல்லும்போது கீழே என்ன போட்டுருக்கோம், படிச்சிருக்கீங்களா? என்ன போட்டுருக்கோம்? சோர்ஸ் போட்டுருக்கோம், கீழே டேஷ் needed. அவன் ஏதாவது தப்பா சொல்லியிருக்கான் அப்படின்னா அவன் கீழே ஒரு ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் போட்டுருக்கான், வாட் டேஷ் needed blank. என்ன போட்டுருவான்? இத்தனை விக்கிபீடியா பேஜ் பாத்தீங்கல்ல, citations needed போட்டுருக்கோம். citations neededனா இந்த இன்ஃபர்மேஷனுக்கு நாம பொறுப்பு இல்ல, இதுக்கு எந்த விதமான அங்கீகாரமும் இல்ல, அங்கீகாரம் இருந்தது அப்படின்னா நாங்க ஆட் பண்ணுவோம். அவ்வளவு பெரிய விக்கிபீடியா காரனே அதை பண்ணுவோம். நீங்க வந்து பிரசன்டேஷன்ல ஜான் லெனன் அப்படிங்கிற ஒருத்தரோட லைஃப்ல நடக்காத ஒரு விஷயத்தை சும்மா அடிச்சுட்டு இருக்கு. லேகியன்ஸ் விட பட்டு மோசமானது. நீ காலையில கிரண், சித்தார்த் சரவணகுமார் அவங்களுக்கு இந்த ஆக்டிவிட்டி கொடுக்கும்போது அவங்க பிரசன்டேஷன் பண்ணாங்க, பந்தாவா பண்ணாங்க. ஆனா சித்தார்த் சரவணகுமார் ஒரு பிரசன்டேஷன்ல எல்லாம் 15 ஸ்லைட் பிரசன்டேஷன் பண்ணிட்டு my citations and my bibliography அப்படின்னு சொல்லி கொடுத்தேன். அவங்களுக்கு அதிக மார்க் நான் கொடுத்தேன் சிஆர்எஸ். That's how a professional has to be. எவ்வளவு அழகா பண்ணிருக்கீங்க. Consider the black mark in the ledger. Without your citation, you are cooking up stories. You need not be sorry. Why should you be sorry?
Sorry, sir.
Okay.
Sorry, sir.
Evaluation. But however, there are a lot of green chips of your presentation. A wonderfully crafted, pre-planned presentation. I appreciate the entire team for this. Good job.
Well done, team.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Mitra acted as the robot very well, and I really appreciate you for that acting. And Brinda is answering, Vishnupriya is answering, Vindubhashini is answering, Kalpita is answering, and of course Ashwatthama is answering in the previous ones. They were all good. I'll give more feedback a little later. Right? Very convincing and a very fulfilling presentation.
Thank you so much, sir. So, also, sir, hereafter I'll try to research more before I say something, sir, or rebel, sir.
It's not only sufficient to research, it's also sufficient to be very authentic and true when you are making. So
Okay.
Right.
Excuse me, sir.
Vindubhashini.
Sir, shall I leave now, sir?
Okay, fine. So tomorrow we'll have a new activity. Today, Dakshin and people will finish their presentation and get ready for tomorrow's activity and come prepared for that. All right?
Okay, sir. Okay.
All right. Expect great things in life and this one.
Bye, guys.
Hi, Vindubhashini Akka. Expect getting salute strong. Bye, Akka.
Okay.
Bye,
so
sir.
team-
Bye, everyone. Expect great things and strong.
Bye. Team Ritan Nitish is getting charged and they are going to present. Balaji, Ritan Nitish and Dakshin from the direct farm and the team Kalpita Sri, the director Nitish, sit back, relax and enjoy the presentation. Very well done. I really like your commitment. We will see during the month. So the online members of Team Ritan, Sanjay Bhaskar, Guru Prasada and Sibi Aditya and Nadish. So Dakshin has been giving a proclamation that he will be finishing in 40 minutes, which is the sealing time. And I have also told him by taking extra time, it's not going to give you any credentials. So finishing up within the sealing time is much better. So at the worst case, in case the parents are turning up or something, then we will think about it. But mostly, you have enough time to finish. 3, 2, 1, go.
So, hello everyone, I'm not present here. So, this is MS News, and this is one of the most popular news which is going on for the past few weeks. And this is an international newspaper, and we are here to.
Google keep it. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
So, hello everyone, I'm not present here. So, this is MS News, and we are here with a new project which has been made by a few scientists, and they have been doing this for years and years, and finally they have got the final product, and we are going to have a small debate with the robot which they are going to make, and let's see the debate. Come on.
Do some.
Yeah. So it's so great of the Indian scientists. They have created the robot with lot of emotions with it. What do you think?
This is outrageous. I don't think a robot can face emotions better than humans can do. I vehemently disagree with this. I don't think this is possible. When we humans ourselves are having problems in dealing with our emotions, how can we expect a robot, a machine, a lifeless thing to deal with emotions? Emotions aren't a joke. We have to be authentic, and before we get confirmation, we cannot rely upon this particular news. I don't think robots can deal with emotions like how IVT appeared.
The IVT scientists have said that they would be proving robots have emotions. We should believe them. They are great scientists of India.
That's what, again, I'll come to what you said. You mentioned that they are telling. They're just saying. It's easy for me to verbally say that I saw a dinosaur yesterday. But before proving it, one cannot believe such facts. So, in order to be authentic, we must see the facts first. And this is going on air, right? So it's live right now, and people must know, they must see the facts, and the IVT are claiming that after 10 years they have prepared this robot. But we have to see, we have to test the robot, we have to check if it can actually do it. But I don't think this is possible. Emotions, the topic of emotions itself is very complicated, and humans themselves are not capable enough right now to take care of emotions. How can a robot do this?
Yeah, I too have the same doubt, but we can believe on them. They would be proving soon.
Don't get me wrong, IBT is a great company. Of course, it's one of the leading companies in AI, and they've produced a lot of great robots. But if they had worked on a project where a robot is capable of doing heavy labor or doing calculations, all that is fine. That can be reliable, and we can accept and agree upon this. But here they are claiming that this robot can deal with emotions, which I don't think is possible. When countries like Russia, United States of America, Great Britain, China, these countries cannot prepare a robot like this, how can our country prepare a robot which can deal with emotions? It's like we're living in 2030 or 2040. It's 2021, right? Then how can it be possible?
Why are you comparing the other countries? Just focus on our country. Our country scientists are very great than other countries' scientists.
You're asking, I'm just giving a context. I'm not betraying my country, as you say. It's just I'm just relating. It's like an analogy or whatever you call it. I'm not betraying or I'm not against my country. So you are thinking of this, so I think you are the anti-me, not me.
So let us stop the debate on which is going on, which is a really good debate by the way. And as just now I got the news that there is an important chief guest who is going to answer few things at the last, and right now they are going to start their presentation, and let's see how they are going to do. So the cameraman who is in the
Yes. Hello?
yeah.
Mr. Pandey, can you
Yeah. Yes, we are everything.
Right now, Pandey, and it's Mr. Ramalingam reporting. Right now, we are here at the headquarters of IVT, and for those who don't know about IVT, IVT is Transport Innovative Technologies, and they are one of the leading AI developers in the world. They've got a group of scientists, and they've got a group of computer programmers as well, who are from the best universities of our country. And to talk more about this, they have worked on a new project for the past 10 years. In collaboration with Youth Cooperating Solutions. So they are Youth Cooperating Solutions, it's a psychological department, and they have collaborated with a department purely, known for science and technology, and they have collaborated to form a psychologically strong and stable robot, which we haven't heard of before. So let's go inside and find out. You will be knowing all the details about this project in our documentary. So we'll be doing this documentary for about 35 minutes, and you'll get to know more inside. Let's go.
So right now we just got they're starting a presentation with Sri Aridyan, and he's one of the important, and his another name is Kumar Raja, and he's going to start a presentation with this.
Sivi Adityan Kumar Raja, we have him. So, Sivi, sir, can you hear us? Mr. Kumar?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so he's speaking from Saudi Arabia. He's there on an important project. So, he's here about video conferencing. Sir, you can start your presentation about the robot.
So, good evening, sir. Good evening, friends. The robots, first the robots were not very strange. Because they're looking very sad. Okay, that's not good. The robot said. And then I can think this is the emotion, this is happiness, that like I'm saying. And then I understand and keep the tip and what did you do for that? I will make them happy, that's like, and then my operation is success. But the problem is, we take one thing, we say take the ball means we take someone something. That is the problem. I manage that and I'm also going to fix it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So, to be short and crisp, I'll reiterate what he said. He said about how the robot can make others happy. So, we're not going to, in this documentary, we're not going to talk about the technical aspects of what a robot is. We're not going to talk about all that. We are going to talk about how this robot can deal with emotions. 35 minutes filled with only the emotional control of the robot. Nothing else. So, don't expect it to be a science class or something. It's purely going to be related to psychology. So, because that's what our viewers want, and let's go to the next person. It's Dr. Natish, who will actually showcase a demo. He'll give us a demo about how the robot works after his main presentation. Natish, you can speak now.
Natish, come on, Natish.
Come on, Natish.
Natish, unmute.
Natish, come on, unmute.
Natish, unmute now, come on. Guru, is Natish in the call?
Natish is in the call now, but he's not responding.
Yeah. So now we have Dr. Sanjay Manikam with us. Sanjay, you can speak.
Good evening, everyone. I am Sanjay Bhaskar, Dr. Sanjay Bhaskar, and I am just speaking about the emotion of anger. This robot is programmed in such a way that it doesn't express its anger to anyone, but it has feelings of anger. So the question you might be having is how does it control its temper? The robot visualize the of expressing its anger to the respective person, people. After that same it be visualized there, so that it doesn't have hatred towards people. At the same time, the anger is reduced. This idea is basically inspired from the book called How to Win an Influence by Dale Carnegie, in which the author suggests to express or her feelings in the form of words in a sheet of paper. After expressing our temper, the author burn or throw away the paper into the ocean. It is psychologically proven that this method would reduce anger. Thank you.
Okay, well done, Sanjay.
So thank you so much, Dr. Sanjay. You told us that you would demonstrate right now what the robot can do. Can you do that? Who's that?
Then we'll after the robot.
Okay.
So, sir, we have which includes the emotion for Mohan. The, he, the chip is programmed the anger a person called
Think a second, sir.
Mohan.
Yes, sir. After this, we will say that. So what Chandra was saying is, once again, Chandra, I'll come back to. Right now, we have inserted a temporary children's sensor. Right now, it's not. It will insert anger itself, so that particular chip, and we see how the person reacts to the anger. And Chandra, what's the name of the person that you inserted? Mohan. So right now, it has a chip which makes this robot as a person for.
It has the anger of Mohan.
Anger of Mohan, yes. For temporary one, yeah.
But how did you pass the time? How did you extract the anger of Mohan?
So no, so we actually created an imaginary person.
You programmed
the person called Mohan.
Okay, all right.
And we had it in our reserve chips.
Right.
So when we inserted it.
Got it. 3, 2, 1, 0. So.
Suddenly I give the voice.
Mohan, do you remember your teachers used to beat you and used to scold you and enlighten you? Don't you feel angry about
Steady good, steady good. How much times I told you? Steady good. What are you doing? You're not. My memory is.
Yeah, we understand.
The teacher was standing right here before me. I would have taken it and smashed him. Even smack instead. What do you think? Feel angry, come on.
I'm not a robot which you are thinking I am. I'm a robot who have been designed to stop the anger and control the anger in myself. I'm not going to let the anger out of myself. If I'm going to let the anger out of myself, it's going to be a bad robot. I'm not going to do like that. I'm a coded robot which is not going to let any kind of emotions out of me. And I'm going to control every type of anger or any type of emotion.
So, but there is say something bad and you feel disappointed. So, you must say anger.
Think about the teacher. Think about the teacher. She told you won't even get a job in the future. Think.
So as Simon is saying outside, I'm not going to think I'm not going to think about anyone. I'm just going to think about a good thing and as not about an angry thing as the teacher, and I'm going to think about the good thing. So by this way only, I'm going to control my anger.
ID superhero concept.
Yes, sir. So this is the robot which we're talking about, friends. Now we'll reveal its name. It's called Nukveda. Nick stands for emotions and Veda means someone who can control it. So we have compressed it to Nukveda, and it's kind of related to Rigveda as well. So it has a lot of Sanskrit significance. So this robot reacts in this way when it's subjected to anger. Think about the youth in our country, how they react if they get angry nowadays. So it's a vast difference. So let's go to the next scientist. We have Dr. Balaji with us. So Dr. Balaji explains about sorrow. How will this robot face sorrow?
So I did this human robot faces sorrow. So yes, they are in the past. So I put a chip inside it and that chip gave this large Kumar and so how Raj Kumar has overcome this sorrow. So Raj Kumar, so you have seen the report that you have created the marks and you get scoring on it. This feel very sad about this. So
Sibi, sad not activity. Come on. Cry. Think about it and cry. Come on. Think your parents invested so much in you, and you bumped all the classes and see. Okay, sir. Don't you feel sad?
I'm going to be feeling so sad. I'm going to get over those bad past and I'm going to get over the sorrow. And as the same, I'm going to be not thinking of the past, I'm going to think about the future, and with the past in my mind, I'm going to use few therapies from Manivandan Sundaresan sir, and with that therapies, I'm going to help myself and going to help a lot of youngsters.
Sibi, try Sibi, come on. Guru, you can continue.
I was observing you did well as a crying person during the rehearsal. So do that here.
Yes, Sibi, come on.
Come on, Sibi.
All day.
Come on, Sibi. Come on, Sibi.
Guru, you continue.
Yeah. Okay. So even if he's not able to do that, we will consider his T club performance as well. So Latisha,
Sibi, come on. Right.
So I have stopped crying because of sorrow. So now, how can I cure this?
Guru, not need a back voice. Guru,
Dakshana Pradisha has muted Sibina.
unmute பண்ண முடியாது. Sibi தான்.
Now,
Sibi,
yes.
unmute பண்ணா. அடு Sibi, அடு. Come on.
So I'm feeling the negative energy of sorrow. How can I cure something?
Feel the sorrow. Feel the sorrow. Feel the sorrow. Feel it. Right. Come on. Think about your future and right. Think about your future.
Try to
Think about
feel sorrow.
create your balance. Please, super please. Yes.
So I'm not going, as I already said, I'm not going to be thinking about the past. The past is past. There is a lot of things I have already mistaken in the past. So I'm going to think about the future, and I'm not going to be a sad person, and I'm going to live my life happy.
Great acting, Sibi.
Well done,
Thank
Sibi.
you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Well
ma'am.
done, Sibi.
Thank you, ma'am.
So right now we have another scientist with us, Dr. Guru Govindapudi. Dr. Guru, Guru Govindapudi. Speak, Guru.
Thank you, sir. So I'm Dr. Guru from IVT. So I'm going to talk about the robot and emotion disappointment. So I would like to say one thing. So the cause of disappointment comes from the expectation, and if we have high expectations around a situation, it causes disappointment. So, but also disappointment has some good values. So the good, like expectations by reality is disappointment. If we expect more and more, we won't be able to come over disappointment. If we expect the things which will happen in our life, we'll be able to come over disappointment. So for that, we have created the robot in such a way that he would not think of more, he would not expect more things and go on with the real situation. So I'm going to do an experiment on disappointment. So the robot Nikveda will, we have a chip of Gopinath. From that Gopinath and his disappointment, we have inserted the chip to the robot. So how the robot reacts to the chip, you can see.
Just for clarification, not the Gopinath from UI. This is another Gopinath. Yes, Dr. Guru Govindapudi, sir.
Yeah. So the now chip is fixed the robot. So now, as the chip is from a human, it can feel the disappointment. So a healthier way to go or to do this is to communicate with the family, friends, and even a therapist. If we have some disappointment in our life, we can just communicate with the people around us. If we communicate with the people around us, we can easily come over these kinds of tough emotion in a creative output. So we will see how the robot works.
We'll get the voice for Gobi.
Yes.
So now Gopi chip is inserted.
Yes.
No, Ritan wants to ask.
Yankan is the robot. You.
Yeah. Gopinath's chip is inserted into Rigveda. Now you are supposed to act as a back-end function. Come on.
Yes, sir. So I'm Gopinath. So I have lots of expectations in my life. So I have overcome in a positive and a creative way.
Gopinath, how did you overcome all those feelings which we talked about right now?
Overcome those feelings like talking to my family members and like getting those bad things out of my mind. I'm not going to be disappointed for so long, as I am already disappointed in few things, and I'm going to get over those things by keeping everything in my mind. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to think of those things. So I'm going to talk about it to